So a couple of life updates. I don't usually care to ever talk about like non-bookish content, but this is going to impact my reading and overall my life. First of all, got a haircut. Chopped it like all off because I am, let me move this back a bit, it's like really in my face. Because I am currently in the process of moving across the country. My partner's employment situation has required us to move from here clear across the country. I will let everybody know where that is when I get there, since I do intend to keep reading as much as I possibly can. To kind of put it into perspective of just how sudden this move was, he was informed of this on Monday, and in 3 weeks we gotta be in office. So we got 3 weeks to move from Chicago to Texas. I'll be specific about the city when I get there. But it's a bit of a change. It's been a little hectic. We have everything scheduled to be picked up, to drop off, to just like pack up and go. So of course priorities were books, which is why all my shelves are like empty. And like clothes, my bed, and our couch. And our TV, but we're not sure if that's gonna make it, so TBD, hopefully it does. As a result, because it's so hot in Texas, I realized my hair is just not gonna cut it, especially with all of the coordinating and the craziness happening. Was like, nope, this gotta go. So it went. I'll eventually grow it out again. It'll probably be where it used to be, December-ish, so not too concerned. But that's why I had to cut off all my hair, because I got 99 problems, my hair can't be one of them, right? However, because I don't know how long it's gonna be until we settle down, since we gotta deal with our house here, go find a place over there, and it's obviously gonna be a little hectic, I decided that I was still gonna bring my books. So even though backlog for half of March, April, and May has kind of bit the dust, I am still taking the books because I hazard that I will probably not have a whole lot to do as I'm living out of my suitcase for 3 to 4 months. Because logistically, we just can't afford 2 houses. So we just gotta take it in stride. My family is being very understanding and they're supporting us. His family is also offering support. So we're very blessed and fortunate to have a support system in place for us, but nobody's paying our mortgages or our rent. So we will be staying with some of my family when I get over there, and they've been gracious enough to open their homes to us, and we'll be there until we, you know, handle the house here. And we don't know how long this move is gonna be. So hopefully we get to get back to Chicago because we both love it here so much. But for the foreseeable future, we will be living in a different state. All that to say, I'll probably be quiet for the next 3 weeks because of the fact that I'm gonna be literally moving. And then I get there April 15th about. So he leaves before me, and then I'm joining him April 15th. And then, I mean, I'm literally getting there with my suitcase and my box of books. So it won't be a whole lot to prep in my camera. I'm taking my camera because I have to find some comfort in all this craziness. I've already scoped out a possible book club that I want to attend. I'm having my sister go with me, so I told her that we have plans on that day. And just trying to find a normalcy amid this very sudden change. We figured it would be coming. We didn't realize it would be so quickly. So we're just taking it in stride. So this will be my last update probably for a good month and a half. However, I will keep reading because eventually I will be sitting in my home by myself without any furniture to speak of at all, and just waiting for the final details to wrap up for me to go and drive down. So I'll be sitting in like an empty house with me and my dogs. Not much to do except read and I guess internet, but I'm not gonna be on my phone. That's way too unhealthy. So I'll just be reading. But I did want to share the emergency book box that I am taking with me to hold me over for the next 3 to 4 months. And I think that we should be, okay, hold up. Reach. there are boxes everywhere. Like I've been able to cram them in. All right, backlog. Handy dandy planner. I don't have a stand though, so gotta work with it. April is where everything hit the fan. I will be buying 2 books in April. Yeah. Then May. May, I'm excited because I have a backlog now. I mean, just in time to possibly have it wrecked. Okay, so first of all, reset. The Tale of Genji. Wait, I don't know why I put that down there. The Tale of Genji. I am 300 pages in. 300 really detailed pages in. So I'm figuring that it would probably make sense for me to continue reading The Tale of Genji. Oh, yep. I figured it would make sense for me to continue reading The Tale of Genji while I'm sitting here in an empty house. I'm really loving it. I needed to film a vlog of it, but then like life hit the fan, so I'm like, oops, don't got time for it. Briefly, I am loving this book. It is so problematic, and I have so much to say. So I have like a backlog of essays that I'm going to type up because I'm not gonna have anything to do sitting in someone else's home, really. I guess except maybe water trees. Okay, sidebar. I'm going to stay in my sister's house. I guess my sister has a part-time home in Texas, so we'll be staying there until we figure out what we're doing. I guess they just planted some new trees, so I'm gonna be on tree watering duty. We'll see how that goes in Texas. But that aside, I won't have a whole lot to do, and I have a backlog of essays already that I want to write based on some stuff that I've read of the Tale of Genji. Now, I've also noticed that what I'm going to write about isn't something that's really been explored because it doesn't have traditional scholarship value, I guess. Like, nobody really wants to talk about, like, I don't know if there's like academic value in talking about Genji and his besties. Because Genji has a girl who is his best friend, one of his best friends, and she's literally brushing his hair. But nobody's ever talked about that. I haven't seen it anyways. Genji also has a bro who I'm pretty sure is low-key in love with him. And their dynamic and their like ride or die with each other is really intense. And nobody talks about that because nobody really cares about Genji's best friends. They care about all of the women that Genji is ruining. But Genji is also such a complicated dude. He doesn't just go and, you know, ruin someone's life. He takes financial responsibility for that to whatever extent he can. So I find it very interesting, the dynamics between the characters. I find Genji himself to be actually quite complex. I think that his handling of Little Murasaki is probably the most problematic part of this entire book. And after reading it, I have a lot to say, and that's going to be a whole other like essay, video series, and things like that. Because I don't believe it happened the way it did. So I'm actually going to check out, I'm going to have my sister check out, a different translation of the Tale of Genji and compare the passages that I'm going to be, you know, dissecting. Because I have so many questions, per usual. And I still have questions, and I'm packing and I'm still thinking about this book. I'm going to keep reading the Tale of Genji. I'm really excited. Like, I still am loving it. And I'm not going to have anything else to do after work for a bit, so I'll continue reading the Tale of Genji. And because life kind of went sideways, I'm going to make it a goal so that by the end of the year, I'll complete the Tale of Genji. I did finish Welcome to the Hinamdong Bookshop, and honestly, I loved it. It was such a cute book. It was healing, it was nurturing, it was exactly what I wanted out of this book. And I'm keeping it unpacked because there's an essay that I want to write, and I'll probably give it a first, so I haven't written an essay in over 10 years. So I'm gonna use this like fun little healing book to get me back into the swing of it. But I will be talking about this book in an essay that I want to publish, you know, publicly. nothing crazy, just me posting to the world. And that's why I have it out, because I want to reflect on it. And I'm going to read, one of the books that I'm going to buy is Moone. That is something that I'm prioritizing reading in April. May, I'm just prioritizing reading that because I think it's one of my most anticipated books. If I don't like Moone, I will be so heartbroken. So this was a kind of practice run for my relationship with Moone. And when I get Moone, I'll be reading that. But I'm going to read that once I get to where I'm squatting so that I can annotate, think, ask questions. Thankfully, my sister, who will be very close by, is a reader. So I'll have maybe someone to like soundboard with or things like that. But I'm really happy I finished this. I'm leaving it unpacked and I'm taking it with me for that essay. Now, okay, well, first of all, don't ask me why I have so many duplicates. I have duplicates of a lot of stuff. So just, we're not talking about that. I will be reading Gilgamesh at some point anyways. So I'm taking these two to get through. And then once I settle down and I figure out where I'm going to be, I will buy the Norton Critical Edition one once I'm ready to tackle it. But these will hold me over. I'm also getting Gilgamesh by Emily H. Wilson. I have Inanna, so that's one of the other books that I'm going to read. So I'm trying to give myself a little leeway and not reading like academic heavy books. And just doing some regular sort of reading. And then for the month of April, it's going to be Moone, Gilgamesh. So that checks out. Then May had some developments actually. So one of my friends recommended The Memory Police. And he's been recommending it for a minute. So I'm like, hey, I'll add it to May since I only have the... I'm out of frame. Oh, maybe this... Okay. I only have the Pillars of the Earth series. So I'm taking The Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett, and I'm just going to keep the original one that I had. It is fine. World Without End, and The Evening and the Morning. So I'm taking those to read. And I was going to add The Memory Police, The Housekeeper, and The Professor, which I have, but I just never actually started it. And Mina's Matchbox, I think, is the book. So it's a really fiction-heavy month, but it's not like outside of the Housekeeper and The Professor. I don't really have like a lot of research I'm gonna do for the month of May. Like Gilgamesh is going to be its own monster. But for the month of May, it's all just fiction and prepping me for the new Ken Follett release. So I'm a little less concerned about the amount of output that's going to come from my reading. Aside from The Housekeeper and The Professor, I want to write an essay on that one too. But it should be just like regular reading. I am going to maintain communication with my book club here, so I'm going to be reading whatever they choose every month. And then if I join that book club down where I'm going to be, I will also be reading that book. So I'll still have stuff to be doing. June and July were my Bronze Age months, my Trojan War months. That has to not be screwed. Like I can't have that compromise. As a result, I will be taking my Trojan War books. I'll probably be buying some of the other ones that I've been meaning to get anyways, especially if I like get into a good routine of reading and continue annotations. So I'll be tackling the Trojan War Bronze Age books. I got this one, Helen of Troy by Margaret George. I think I have more of her stuff, or I used to. So this is just like fiction. I'm gonna see what it's about. And then if I'm really like have time on my hands, I'll be looking at The Song of Achilles and Thousand Ships. I have multiples of those because I'm actually going to disassemble the books and kind of reassemble them into packets so that I can eventually build my story on. So next year, oh my god, there's a book coming out about the women of Homer. I have to, hold up. Wait, did I not add it? I had to have added it. I might not have added this to my list. Stop. What is happening here? I have to go find it. There's a book that is about the women of Homer. Definitely grabbing that and reading it. so I'll have to figure out which one it is. I'll be reading 1177 BC, The Year Civilization Collapsed, and the sequel. This is gonna be more researchy, but it's gonna be like June and July. Also, I'm gonna be in Texas in June and July. Not gonna go out much. That's like dangerous for my health. So not gonna have a whole lot to do but read since I'll be staying indoors. And then I chose a lot of like just really skinny books just to like get me going, books that I've been wanting to read. So I got these two, and I'll probably be buying the rest of the series by Nevo. I'm sorry. But this I think has 5 books in it. They're so cool. So I'm gonna buy all the series and I'll just probably sit and read these. So I'm taking these with me. Taking these guys because they're already in progress. This one's still gonna take some time, but I think I'll just read it when I have time. These should not take me too long, but I'll be taking these to just wrap up since they're in progress. I've been meaning to get through this Peter Pan anthology. It's all the works by J.M. Barrie. By the way, J.M. Barrie was kind of weird. And then this is the authorized Peter Pan sequel. So I'll be taking these and maybe making a dent. These will be the books that I read if like we're pushing September, October and we still haven't settled down. So figured something like lighter would be in order. Then I just have a bunch of small books. Got some stuff by Plato, The Symposium, and Phaedrus. These are about love. Achilles and Patroclus are discussed in either one of these or both of these. This has been on my list and it looks really cool and it's really small. I figured it'd be a good one to kind of get through. This is, I'm hoping this gives me like Cassandra Shaw, T. Kingfisher vibes. It's a huge, that's a tall order, right? But we'll see, but I'm taking it with me just because it looks interesting. I am taking this tragic duology, To Live and Chronicle of a Blood Merchant by Yu Hua. Prominent Chinese author. Books have obviously been banned in other places. And I hear that they're actually really good. What I'm expecting out of these is Hong Kong vibes. So this is gonna wreck my soul. Maybe when I'm in like a particularly masochistic mood, I'll tackle these. But these are short and they're notable duology. So I thought I'd have them in case I needed something to read. I Who Have Never Known Men. This has just been on my shelf and I'm like, this seems like a really good time for this. So just have it in there as an option. Snow Country, I bought it because of the cover. It's also short, probably gorgeous to read. Siddhartha. I'm not sure what to feel about this one, but I've seen it around and I'm like, well, it's a classic. I haven't read it. Might as well just throw it in here for stuff to read. Because I'm also giving, okay, hold up before I go on a tangent. The Hole by Hiroko Oyamada. Very short. The cover drew me in. I like really simple covers. And then I'm reading Chronicle of a Death Foretold for April. I have it on audiobook and it's very short, but this is going to be my like book in translation, so I still want to do some books in translation, which is why so many of those are books in translation. I want to have options. So a note. Those are all short because I don't know what my capacity is going to be like and my attention span. So I'm giving myself the lenience of having shorter options in case I'm not in a place to tackle like these behemoths, but I still want to read. So those are short. They might be dense. I'm also probably going to be using my library and checking out like YA books for the time being until I get settled down, but we'll see. As a side note, I had actually just texted my friend that very recently that I actually don't give myself options for my TBR. I'm pretty definitive about my list. Like, this is this month, this is the list I'm reading. I'm gonna read these books and get through as many as I can. And it's funny that now I have all of these books as options. So this is new for me. I don't usually give myself options. I usually give myself like, this is the list, let's go. But given how uncertain everything is going to be, I'm giving myself a little bit of lenience to kind of read for the vibe, but we'll see. So that's been happening. Like I said, my setup will be pretty temporary for a few months probably. I'm hoping it's not that long, but kind of prepare for the worst, hope for the best. I packed up my writing supplies. I'm actually being very intentional with what I'm taking with me because of the fact that Everything else is going into storage. I'm trying to keep it minimal but effective. So the stuff that I'm keeping is stuff that is already things that I know I'm going to be reading. Structure gives me comfort. So even though April and May have kind of just gone out the window, to keep the books that I wanted to read during those months with me will kind of ground me and give me a foundation when I'm going to be literally living out of a suitcase. We'll see how it goes and what happens. This isn't the first time I've moved across the country. I also moved to Chicago pretty on a whim. I just didn't have to do it in 3 weeks. I gave myself 45 days. We'll see how it goes. This time though, I have help. So my partner and I have been working together, and this is the end of the first week that we got notice. And we're pretty comfortable with with the progress we're making, and we're pretty sure we're gonna be fine by the end of next week, which gives him a few days of rest and me 2 weeks to just sit in an empty house, which I will absolutely take over having to rush to the very last second. But that's my update. It's a little chaotic. I have been, oh my gosh. So I have been outside getting some house maintenance things done, because obviously I was like, oh, we'll get to them eventually. Well, there's no eventually, you gotta get to them now. So I'm actually really tired, and this last week has just been exhausting and stressful and really chaotic. Not to mention the week before this, my fridge went out. So this week was, let's scramble and move. Last week was, let's throw away all our food. We have nothing we can eat. Because my fridge was dead, I still have really nothing to eat. Like, I don't have any staples. So it's been a little hectic. I've been really relying on my running, because I run every day. So I've been really relying on that. But when all this went down, I'm just like, all right, well, my hair is gonna just upset me, and that is just, we got no time for this, because we can't be arguing over silliness when we're trying to pack up and move across the country with 2 dogs. I will update once I get settled in, as settled in as possible. I hope I can update the trip to the book club, because that's something I'm actually really looking forward to. Another side note, structure gives me comfort and grounds me. Hence the books, the backlog. I'm trying to keep it as similar as it was. I try to, if I know something difficult is coming, I try to make sure that there's something at the end of it that helps me, that gives me joy. So this book club is something that I'm really excited for. And it's currently the light at the end of the tunnel, that when I drive down to Texas in 2 days, because it's like a 22 hour trip with dogs, that I have something to look forward to that week. I'll be exhausted, I will be drained, because of course I also have company coming. I told my friend to stay at an Airbnb because I will literally have no furniture. They're still coming. We've been planning this for like 9 months. They're coming from Oregon. So it's a lot happening all at once. So it's going to be extremely exhausting. But I wanted to treat myself, and I'm like, well, that book club is going to be the treat. And that is going to be like the new foundation along with my books. So it's been hectic. I'm still really fried. It's going to be a really long 3 weeks, but I'm excited for this opportunity for him and for us, and to be, I don't know, closer to my family, sort of, you know, family. We're gonna make the best of it. Wanted to give my book, what is it, my emergency book box update. I will put these on in a little box, and then I will set those up and then put them back in the little box when I finally figure out where we're staying. And I'm rambling at this point because I'm tired. I have moved so much stuff. My library is such a mess. There's boxes everywhere. I haven't been able to write because obviously I don't have time or capacity for it, because I'm packing till like 12 or 1 in the morning, and then I'm working all day because I still have a full-time job. Work is thankfully ramping up now. So a little hectic, but that's all right. Nothing we can't handle. We got this. And I will update once I'm in Texas. Bye. I will also tell you guys where I'm going, which is like the only saving grace in this entire situation. So that's it for this video. I'm tired, I'm hungry, and I'm probably dehydrated. So I'm gonna go get some food. Alright. Talk to you later. Bye!